All right, welcome to Rocket, and we'll start in a comfortable cross-legged seat. You could put a block under your bottom or splay your legs out to the side. Close your eyes. And begin to enter that sacred underworld of breath, of sensation. The practice of yoga is a practice of remembrance, remembering who we are because we've forgotten. Become aware of the pelvic floor and imagine there is a sacred gem, a pearl that sits just inside the pelvic floor. Begin to draw the flesh of the sitting bones toward each other, or the tissue around the sitting bones together. This is the superpower plug of the yogi. Notice the temperature of the room. And imagine you're like a cougar with these crazy senses of hearing and tasting and smelling. You've got this keen awareness and you're looking for information. But you're looking for information on the inside. Then drop your chin. Let some light into the eyes, and we'll slide onto our hands and our knees and striking back into down dog. So taking a few moments, bending one knee then the other. Noticing the backs of the legs first thing in the morning. So the name of the practice could confuse someone. It might sound a little bit like a pop star yoga. But Rocket is super traditional and it's based on kind of rock and roll rebellion. Eyes forward, top of the mat. Inhale, lengthen. Exhale, fold. Stand tall, reach up, look up. Release your arms. Bring your hands to your heart. We'll open with an Om. Take an inhale. Om. Release your arms and lift the arches of your feet. So all 10 toes lift up. Lower the big toe, the second toe. Feel the weight of the outer edge. Exhale completely. Surya A, inhale, reach up. Exhale, fold. Inhale, lengthen. Step walk, float back, low push up. Roll over the toes, lift the chest. Slide back, downward dog. So we've been here before. Begin to lift up through the mounds of the big toes for a moment. Notice how the arches lift. And then lower the big toes. Set your eyes. Completing your exhale, eyes forward, top of the mat. Lengthen. Bow. Stand tall, reach high. Release the arms. Inhale, up. Exhale, fold. Inhale, lengthen. Step walk, fly back, low push-up. Roll over the toes, buoyant chest. Slide back, downward facing dog. So the inline of the legs is naturally shorter in any body. So could you attempt to get more space through the inline of your leg? You can think about it from the big toe joint all the way up to the groins. How would you do it? You would widen your heels a little. Eyes forward, top of the mat. Lengthen. Bow. Stand tall, reach up. Release the arms. Arms up. Fold in. Inhale, lengthen. Step walk, fly back, lower. Spinal extension, open the throat. Slide back, downward dog. Clear the belly center. Widen the heels. And land. Hollow your belly, eyes forward, top of the mat. Lengthen. Fold. Stand tall, reach up. Release your arms. B, bend your knees, sit low. Fold in, fingers line the toes. Lengthen. Step walk, fly back, lower. Spinal extension, open the throat. Downward dog. The right foot steps, low knee, high heart, up. Down, hands plant, step back, lower. Drag it up, lift the chin. Slide it back. The left foot steps, low hips, high heart, up. Down, palms plant, back to lower. Spinal extension, open it up. Slide back, down dog. So there may be a couple moments of repositioning. Then lift the pearl of the pelvis. Hollow the low belly. And find something you've never found before. Hollow your belly, eyes forward, top of the mat. Lengthen. Bow. Sit low, Utkatasana. Samastitihi. Utkatasana. Uttanasana. Ardha Uttanasana. Chaturanga, back and lower. Drag it up. Slide it back. The right foot steps, low hips, reach up. Hands plant, step back, lower. Spinal extension, open the throat. Downward dog. The left foot steps, low hips, up. Down, be precise like a diamond cutter, lower. Go up. Go back. So one of the 9 obstacles in the Yoga Sutras is carelessness, recklessness. So it shows up on the mat as like distraction or moving with a little bit of bobbles or shakes. So let's remove any insecurity in the yoga poses. Let's get steady. careful. Hollow your belly, eyes forward, top of the mat. Lengthen. Bow. Utkatasana. Samastitihi. Last one, Utkatasana. Uttanasana, fold. Ardha, lengthen. Chaturanga, sail back, lower. Urdhva Mukha. Adho Mukha, right foot steps, come up. Down, palms plant, back to lower. Ride it up. Slide back. Left foot steps, Viraya, enter. Exit, palms plant, back to lower. Roll over the toes. Slide back. Option to stay in down dog. Drop to child's. Take dolphin or take forearm stand. We have about 10 breaths to play. So in the process of remembrance, we're removing everything that is not us. Tone the outer glutes, set the eyes. Come all the way down, sit back, child's for a moment. Let everything fall away. Downward dog, strike back. Hollow your belly, eyes forward, pounce to the top. Lift your heart. Fold in. Sit on your throne, stay here, and then put your belly on your thighs. Lift all 10 of your toes up. Intertwine the fingers, reach forward and look at the petals of your lotus flower, your toes. Lift all 10 of them up. All 10 of them up. And then you can lower the big toe and the pinky toe, but keep the other 3 toes up. Plant your palms, Bakasana, crow, or little mini squat at the top. So the bottom of the heart, the place between the ribs, is our weight-bearing focal point where we pool energy. So when we shoot back, that's the point with which we gain power. Step, walk, shoot back, lower. Drag your pelvis to your wrist, look up. Slide back. Step your right foot forward and wiggle your left foot back. We'll take a crescent lunge, a super low crescent. Reach your arms up. Wiggle your foot even farther back. I love Warrior One, but I find that crescent gives us an access point to the back quadricep that we don't get in Warrior One. Open wide, Warrior Two, spin the back heel to the floor, nice and low in the pelvis. Tell me about the fingers on the left hand. Straighten your front leg, wiggle the back foot in, Trikonasana, triangle. Take your fingers to a block, the floor, your big toe, left arm up. So you've likely done this pose minimum 1,000 times. So work the front kneecap to the pinky toe edge. And remember your lotus petals, your toes, lift all 10 of them up. And then notice if that really throws you off balance. There's some information. Eyes down, hands down, square the hips, twisted triangle. Take the left hand to the pinky toe edge, right hand to the small of the back. Roll and pivot. So the bottom hand, you don't have to look at it, but where is the weight distribution? Are you more pinky finger or thumb? And could you grip like a cougar with all 5 of the finger pads? Eyes down, Ardha Chandrasana, half moon, right foot, right hand. Left hand to the hip, maybe up, maybe bound. Bring your hand back to your hip as you take a massive step back for side angle from the floor up. Take the right hand inside the edge of the foot, the left arm is up. Some of you might take a bind here, and that might be your happy place. Some of you might step forward and stand up on the left leg, birds of paradise. Get really familiar with the bottom of the exhale. They say it's the closest thing to death. It also triggers the rest and digest in the body. So even though we're doing something quite active, we're still starting to access the parasympathetic nervous system, calm. If you're flying, step down, step back. Untangle the arms, hands down, drop the back knee. Twisted side, reach that left arm up, hook it over deeply, maybe you bind. So get rid of the stutter, the insecurity, the shake, and roll the chest open. So the guts are getting compressed. But we're so stable in our legs that nothing could throw us off. Bring your eyes down, bring your hands down, side plank on the left. You might catch the toe, lift it up, you might step a foot down. So this is the first pose of 3rd series. Bring your hands down, eyes forward, low push-up. Roll it open, lift the chest, slide it back. Step your left foot forward and wiggle that right foot back for a crescent lunge. Get a little wild with it, like lower, lower, longer. Think Hanuman. So I mentioned the feet, so lift the lotus petals of the front foot, your toes, and then lower the big toe, the pinky toe, but keep the other 3 toes up. Open wide, Virabhadrasana B, Warrior 2. Low. Fire in the limbs. So the thing about change is it's not easy. And there is an intensity to it. Whether it's changing a habit, a thought pattern. So feel the heat of change. Straighten the front leg, heel toe the back foot in, lift your toes, and then grip with the big toe, slide into Trikonasana. Arch is lifted, big toe is the anchor, big toe is the anchor. Ears back. So when the arches lift, and you can train yourself to lift those arches, you almost feel like you're levitating. Standing work becomes just as fascinating as upside down work. Bring your eyes down, bring your hands down, square your hips for twisted triangle. Bring the right palm to the edge of that left foot and then swivel and revolve your chest like a Twizzler. Sitting bones wide. Gaze to that thumb in the sky. Take a moment and close your left eye and look at your thumbnail with your right eye. Now open both your eyes because your thumbnail is going to feel weird you winking at it. Eyes down, Ardha Chandrasana, half moon up. Right hand to the hip, use your blocks if you need them. So we set ourselves up for success, you know? And blocks and bolsters and straps are our friends. Release the bind, take your hand to your hip and a big step back for side angle from the floor up. Left hand inside the left foot, maybe you bind. For those of you that are bound and want to work birds of paradise, step forward, stand up on the right leg, birds of paradise. And then slowly step down, step back. Untangle the arms, hands down, drop the back knee. Reach your right arm up, hook it over. Some of you might bind, and some of you might lift the back knee up. But let's keep a crescent back leg. In traditional Ashtanga yoga, the back foot drops, which is perfectly okay, but now we get a bit of freedom to lift the arch, replenish the blood in the hip and the leg. Untangle, the eyes come down, plant the right palm, side plank, roll it open. Nice, the eyes come down, the hands come down, low push-up. Roll it open, eyes up. Downward dog. Option to stay, take child's, or drop down onto the forearms for forearm stand. So we've done it once before. And that might mean that you learned a thing or two and you want to do something a little different. So we call it a practice. It's not about perfection, it's just learning. Knowing every day will feel a little bit different. But what is required of someone to go upside down is a lot of courage. And come all the way down. Sit back for a beat, child's. Feel the heat and the buzz of the body. That's called prana, life force. We go backward, we become children again, we get more youthful. But that's only the dangling carrot. That's one tiny piece of why we practice. Rise up, downward dog. We practice to drop our identities and our stuckness. Walk your hands back to your feet. Couch your big toes in yogi grip, but I want the heels a little wider than you typically take them, so there should be a tiny pigeon toe. Inhale, lengthen. And exhale, fold. So if you look at a tight, rigid body, there's a feeling about that body. And then you think about the person living in that tight, rigid, uncomfortable body. So we are finding freedom while locked into a physical body. The freedom to feel good. Inhale, lengthen. Bend your knees and slide your hastas, your hands under your padas. Big toe joints anchor into the meat of the thumb. Inhale, lengthen. And exhale, dive. Tip it forward. Till you scare yourself. You're on the edge of your life. Inhale, lengthen. Release your hands and meet me in malasana, a little squat. So you might stay here. Watch if you just exited, like just go straight malasana. It's crow to headstand to crow, and some of you might want to tap your knee like a one-legged crow. So pick it up, bakasana. Widen the feet, lower your little noggin, and send the legs up. And then prepping, because eventually all the hand balances are entered from headstand. You might take your right knee and tap your right tricep. And then you might take your left knee and tap your left tricep. And then either butterfly the legs or lotus the legs and catch the knees and lift up, crow. 3, protract the shoulders. 2, 1, release the feet, malasana, little squat. Catch your breath. Slide your hands like you're on a skating rink into downward dog. Eyes forward, top of the mat. Belly from thighs, chin up, fold in. Look at your feet, stand up, reach up. Release your arms. Take a step out to the right, prasarita, series pigeon toe the feet. Catch the waist, lift all 3 middle toes up, chin up, and fold, hands down. Inhale, lengthen, clear the belly, exhale, head down. So again, you have the option to go upside down. A handstand press, a headstand, a pinch up. One definition of yoga is to make the impossible possible. Beautiful. If the feet are up, put them down. Lengthen. Catch the waist. Stand up. Arms float open straight into C. Intertwine the fingers. Lift your chest and eyes and then fold forward. Hands fall away from the back. Big inhale stands you up. Arms float open. Catch your waist, lift your chin, moving into D, hands down. Inhale, lengthen. exhale, fold. Crown of the head down, sitting bones up. Inhale, lengthen. Release your hands to come into the middle splits or frog pose. So the inner edges of the feet are down if you're working middles. Close your eyes. So that obstacle of carelessness, it comes when we forget about the bandhas, you know, when we're lazy in the pelvic floor. I shouldn't say lazy, but there's just like a forgetfulness. So for poses that ask a lot, I'm super diligent about my bandhas, my locks, my gazing point, and the quality of my breath. And then slowly rising all the way up to pivot to face the right leg for Hanuman. So for some of us, we'll work an Ardha, a half, which is great. Some of you might slide down full split. And you could bow over the leg, you could arc back. Hanuman is one of my favorite deities, and he just like was obsessed with the Lord, Sita and Ram. Ram was his Lord, and he was just obsessed. He loved to serve God. And when I say God, I mean like the high self. So the part of you that is quiet and kind and reflective. The part of you that is kind to yourself. Take a lunge back into that right knee and then cross the foot over for pigeon. I want a figure 4 pigeon. So we could bow forward, bringing those elbows to the ground. So the reason I add a pigeon in every so often here is that when we move into the hand balances, this is flying pigeon. So if the elbows easily touch that shin and that ankle bone, you know you have the flexibility to do it. Remember, this practice is not about fixing because you're broken. It's about removing what is not you and remembering who you really are. Rising all the way up, lower the foot, and then walk yourself to the left leg for Hanuman or Ardha. Again, you could fold, you could bow back. So they have these images of Hanuman. He's a monkey god, and he's got his chest ripped open because people didn't believe that he loved the Lord so much, and inside his heart was a picture of Ram. So Ram is just a deity symbolic of like high self, the creator. And if that doesn't sit, then just look at the sun, the wind. Something stronger than you. Take a lunge and move into pigeon. Cross it over. And I want a parallel shin because this is the posture when we fly. Quick little scan of your face. And then rising all the way up to come into a little lunge. Straight into Pashasana. So step forward for noose. The knees are low. You might pop your heels. Take your right elbow and hook it over your left knee. So your hands could come to prayer. You could bind. So second series, this is the first pose of second series. Untangle, do it on the opposite side. Hook the elbow nice and tight. Compress the organs of the belly. Snuggle in. Nice, Rosie. So the exit is a straight jump into a tuck handstand. You could take it or leave it. So you plant the palms and you pop up into a little tiny tuck handstand before you float back and vinyasa. So now we enter the hand balance session, and some of you might do it from headstand, top of the mat. Pivot your knees to face the right side of your long edge and hook your right elbow over your left knee. Option 1, feet up, bent. Option 2, legs straight out to the side. Don't skip this pose. Sometimes people go immediately into the leg splayed, but this pose is important. 2, 1. Release your flight. Knees through center deep to the left. Hook your left elbow. Pick it up, side crow. Bent legs or straight legs, but they're not open yet. 3, 2, 1. Release the knees, the feet, knees through center, lengthen. Fold. You could hang out here, otherwise lengthen. Step walk, float back, lower. Ride it up. Take it back. Step walk, float to the top, side crow, Ekapada Kundinasana B. Feet to the right. Hook your elbow deep. So you might work a squat. Some of you might pick it up. Top leg up. 3, 2, 1. Release the flight. Knees through center, lengthen. Bow. Other side. Pop the knees and pivot them. Hook that left elbow nice and tight to the right hip. Pick it up. Splay the legs. 3, 2, 1. Release the flight. Knees through center. Lengthen. Fold. Lengthen. Step walk, fly back, lower. Spinal extension up. Downward dog back. Step walk, float to the top and sit on your throne, last one. I like to do these all together because that's how they're done in third. Hook the right foot over the left knee. Option to stay or option to fly, flying pigeon. 3, 2, 1. Untangle, sit on your throne. Other side, hook the shin, sitting bones back. Some of you will fly, some of you will plant your palms. So when we work really hard doing something very unusual, we're present. Presence is when the body and the mind and the spirit are in the same place at the same time. Release, Utkatasana. Stand tall, arms by the side. Close your eyes. Who are you? And what is success? Open your eyes. Stand on your tippy toes, arms up. Drop your knees forward and meet me on your bottom Navasana. Nice. Release the legs and tuck the right leg back for Crown Chasana. Bend your left knee, glue your knee to your chest. You might catch your ankle or wrap yourself up to hold your wrist. Mula Bandha, lift the pearl in the pelvis. Inhale, lengthen. Release the leg for Ashtavakrasana. Pick up that right leg, pull it forward. We might rock the hip, that might be good enough. Some of you might wear the knee like a backpack strap. Pick it up and squeeze your triceps so the whole bottom part of your arm almost loses circulation. Look at your feet. You might really need a pedicure or to cut your toenails. Release the bottom. Some of you might take a vinyasa. Some of you may just settle. Dandasana. Gorgeous Dian Shan. All the way back through Crown Chasana. Take your left leg, fold it back. Round the pelvis, glue your leg to your chest. Find your pose. So no settling, in our asana practice, and I don't mean to hurt yourself, but I refuse to settle for mediocre. And what I mean by that is like if my breath is shallow and my poses are weak, like I just don't care, I refuse to settle for that. Doesn't mean it has to be a crazy deep variation, but my whole spirit is there. Inhale, lengthen. Release the foot, opposite side, Ashta. Pull that left leg forward, rock it. Maybe you catch the knee, cross the feet, pick it up, and look at the toes. Big full breath, 3, 2, 1. Vinyasa, everyone meet in downward facing dog. Hello, puppy. Option 1, child's pose. Option 2, handstand. Middle of the room or against a wall. So what I love about this particular sequence is these poses are big, right? And recklessness, carelessness could happen when we're doing something so huge. But we control our legs, we listen to our breath, and we lift our pelvic floor so we know we're safe. 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. Come all the way down. Sit back, child. And now we change directions and we're going to work our back bends. Come forward and onto your tummy. Shalambhasan, A and B, tops of the hands to the earth. Lift up, 5. Higher in the legs. Bring your hands
hands to the earth. Squeeze the tips of the elbows together, shoulders drawn back, eyes down the nose. Lift up higher. 3, 2, 1, and release. You could vinyasa or cheek to one side. Bakasana frog pose. Eyes forward, bend the knees, let them flop out to the side. Catch a hold of the feet, and you might stop here, just work that rotation. It's a bit funny. Some of you might flip your palms and lift up, working your heels outside your hips. Thighs up, toes down. 3, 2, 1, and release. Cheek to the other side, maybe a vinyasa. Call every ounce of yourself here. Dhanurasana, straight into Parsva. Bend your knees, catch your ankles, let's go up. The big toes touch, shoulder blades squeeze together, eyes down the nose. Rock over, right shoulder, right hip, ears back. Follow the line of your wall. All the way through center, up and over, opposite side, kick back, open the throat. All the way through center, up and release. Hands under your shoulders, push up, high plank. Sometimes yogis suck at pushing. They're good at lowering, but suck at pushing. Push back, downward dog. Stretch the legs, clear the low back, look at your feet. So anytime you see wrinkles in your ankle joints, you know that there's dense energy in the feet. So work pinky toe edge, wake up the feet, drop to the knees. Camel, and we'll do it 2 times. Catch your waist. Take your tailbone forward, head back. You might reach back to catch the heels, throat open. And all the way up, hero's pose or headstand. So when we discover dense energy in the body, heavy energy in the body, it's not a negative thing, and I'm not like asking you to be perfect. It's just cool, like a realization like, oh, my feet are heavy. Stand up on your knees, last one. Ustrasana, legu, whatever you like. Tailbone goes forward, shoulders go back. Track the wall behind you. The feet are alive even now, so the toenail side is gripping. How's your breath? Beautiful. The head is last. Come all the way up. Hands down, knees down, cat-cow. Inhale, look up. And exhale, round. Look up. Round. One more time, look up. Round. peacock posture. Take your knees about the distance of your mat, sit back. I used to think this was totally impossible for women. It isn't. Fingers flip back. You could even widen the hands out to the side, but make sure that you get the tissue of the breasts underneath your elbow joints. Tuck your elbows towards your belly button and see if you could pick it up. 5. You might splay the legs, maybe touch them together. 3, 2, 1. Inhale, up dog. Down dog. Flip the hands, stretch. Lift your right leg up. Sweep it through for Gomukhasan. So it's like a pigeon but not. And then slide the back knee in and fan your feet. So we see this pose in second series. Splay the feet. Sit back. This might be the place you stay. Maybe you lift that left arm up, drop it down the back, use a strap or your fingers, maybe bind, maybe fold. So this is a very crisscross applesauce pose. And they say for any crisscrossing in yoga, it's really good for the neural pathways of the brain. You know, anytime we cross over, reach over, twist, it's good for the brain. If you're down, come up. If your arms are tangled, untangle them. So you can either lean back, can girl switch, or you could do a headstand switch and lower. Widen the feet, heavy in the seat, and this might be good or bad or interesting on the other leg. The right arm reaches up. You could stay just as you are though, and then drop it down the back, maybe thread it through and catch your fingers. Maybe you fold. If you're down, come up. If the arms are tangled, untangle them. And then we'll set ourselves up for headstand. So however you want, getting into a downward dog. And if instead of headstand you'd like to take a reclined twist or something else, you're welcome. Otherwise, elbows tight, fingers tangled, crown of the head to the earth, legs up. Tone your legs. Get long through the psoas. So not a banana in the back, but longer front line. So point your toes for a second and reach them a slight bit behind you and then floint the feet. So the toes are pointed, the foot is pointed, but then the toes flex back. Maybe stay, maybe pike, pointing the toes. 5, make sure you're not compressing your neck. So that means you're pushing your head into the floor, kind of an up dog in the chin. All the way up. And all the way down. Sit back. Child's. One more. And then slowly sliding forward onto your belly and rolling over onto your back. Drape your shoulders. One more. So on a golf course, there is a par for the course. And what that means is that an average or above average golfer would get that particular score at that particular club. But we would never take that par and expect the same in another golf course because it would be totally different. Different distances, there'd be sand traps and water features, so they're not even comparative. So why do we compare ourselves to anyone else? Our lives, our golf courses are totally different. So part of really becoming is letting all that comparative, competitive stuff fall away, so that our greatest essence can prevail. It was when I stopped searching for home within others and lifted the foundations of home within myself. I found there were no roots more intimate than those between a mind and a body that have decided to be whole. Take a deep inhale. One more. Move your fingers, move your toes. Reach your arms long, stretch your toes. Let any part of yourself die that you don't want to carry forward today. Resentments, criticisms. Tuck your knees toward your belly. Roll to the right. And come to a seat. That presence that you feel, that buzz, that alert, that sea of peace that you feel is who you are, is what you are. Everything else is just flashy and distracting. Bring your hands to your heart. Close your eyes and bow your chin for the great work that you just did. Take it forward and change the world.
lifting our eyes. Namaste.